Hello there and welcome back to my videos. In this video we will continue to creating the authentication system we are creating in this project. And from the last video to now I discovered a small bug, and I think we will fix this first. It's we're taking the access token and return that and not returning the account token. So when you're logged in succeeds and you return, and the server side will confirm the access token is signed in, then you just get access token back, and that's wrong. So that's we want to change first, and after that we will prepare for reset password page. We will don't fix this today, and then we will fix sign up if you are allowed to sign up with the guest accounts. If not, then we will hit the link, and then we will of course block the page to sign up if the provider is not allowed that. We will not check that in a sign in, but for now we will do this with the sign up process, so we can create a user if guest sign up succeeds. So thank you to have you here today, and I really hope you to stay in the full video. And before we continue, I really hope you want to subscribe. You can subscribe by doing in the right corner below, pressing the ding. I hope you want to like this video and share it with your friends, of course. And if you have any questions, please make the comments below. Everything about this video can be found in the description, link to my GitHub profile and my Discord channel. So I think that's everything you need to know before we are starting to code. So let's starting to fix the bug first, and then continue to the sign up process. So let's open the editor with the code, and the first file we want to work with, it's the library and then the account token, access token, sorry. And then we need to scroll down for JVT, so I will search JVT. We have it here, and you can see we have returned the access token, and we need to access the account token. So now this bug is fixed, and we can continue for the next step. We will going for the Flask here, and the form we will create two functions, sorry. And the first function we want to do, it's the sign up. And the second one will be the reset password. And then we can going for the app file, we have it here, and going down for sign in and sign up. We will minimize this a little bit, just put this up here because it's the same file, and we have the same with the confirm access token, confirm access, sorry. And that's it. Let's make a sign up here, and we have the sign up file here, and going over here to say sign up, and the method is still should be get and post. And the next one we want, it's the reset password. Because we don't make the last one, we will not have the post here, so we will only have the get, so we can display the page. Reset password, that's what we need right now. And then we just save it, and let's going back for the form here and scrolling down to those two functions here, because now we need to enable the templates from the sign up and the reset password before we're going for the sign in, and in the sign in we will create the links. We can start with the sign up. The first one to do is the provider. We have it up here. I'll just copy this line, and I will edit both places because we need it. And why I need it is because we will be sure we have directly access for the provider we're working with. If one people manipulate something with the provider, it will block and it will not be good. And then we want to return, and we need to render the template. We can take it up here. We can just remove this for now, and then we have the sign up.html. Copy this and go down to to the reset password. And then we are good to go for now. Now we will scrolling up for the sign in. We have it here. I'll just minimize this and put this out. We have some provider ODM down below. We have it here. We were gonna move it to the top here and before the request post here, and just remove a little bit lines here. And then we need a little bit in the return here. In the return we need a guest sign up, and we need the provider and settings. We need to allow guest sign up, yes, and then we need the arguments, and we should have f before, and dual encode request arguments. That's what we need right now. And then we can go in for the page. We have the template down below here in the sign in, and in the bottom of the file we will create a little HTML code here. So let's make the line breaks here, and then we going for style, and text align center should be here. So everything inside this div text should be in center. And then we have two statements here. We have the if statement, where we ask about if guest sign up. If it's guest sign up, we want to do something here with the links, and then we going for to say else. We have something here. Whoops, and say links again, and then we will say end if. And what we're gonna do now is making the create account here, ref tag, and say create new account, or if you already is logged in, if you're not logged in, if you want to reset your password, you can do it here. That's if guest sign in is allowed, else we want to go inside to do this. So let's save this and go into the browser to see what's happening. And now you can see we have the create account and we have the reset password, and that's good because that's what we want. Let's create the links. So we can say form and sign up. In the sign up we want to the arguments, and that's what we want below here, and say reset password, and we want to copy this down below here. Let's go in for the browser one more time and see what's happening. You can see we have in the below one we have a create account, we have a reset account. So it should not work if you do this one. It will not. But you can see in the top here we have changed the URL for reset and the sign up here. So that's perfect, because now we can create the templates for the create account and the reset password. So let's do this. Scrolling down here for the templates, and create one, call it sign up.html, sign up process, and then we have one with the reset password, not the Python file. We'll have the HTML file here, reset password.html. And that's what we're gonna do now. Let's see what's happening. It's still buggy because we of course forgot to do it down here. Sign up and reset. We can just do this and then it should work. No, so we still have a bug, and we will of course fix this before we continue. And the bug is we don't return the render, and yeah, a little mistake here. So let's going back to the browser again and test. And now it should be sign up process, and the reset process. That's working. So let's go in for the reset password and make this template done, so we don't need to think more about that section in this video. So let's go into the sign in, just copy this, go for the reset password, and then we basically just remove all of those and we say reset password. And what we're going to do down below here is say div tags and say class, it's alert, alert danger, and we just say function not yet developed, sorry, and then we just make a line break here and say div tag, and we will say to the client, say if we want we can go in for sender and we can say arf, and we can say form sign in with the arguments we want to put inside, and back to sign in. That's what we want here. Nothing more. So the only thing we need to go, it's back for the form, and we basically just need to take this and put it inside here, and then we are good to go. Let's test in the browser so we are sure. And we can go in here to reset password, and it's not working, so let's going back, and then we get an error. So we probably have a little bit mistakes here. So let's going back and see what's happening and reset password. And I think that should be okay. I'll try that again and see what's happening. It's a little bit weird, this one. Oh yeah, of course. We only sending in a directory, and we need well encoded. We need to take the directory and then make the UL encode on it, and now it should work. And yes, reset password and back again. So now we have closed the reset password. We don't need to think more about that in this session. So let's going back to focus on our sign up process here. I think a good place to start is just going back for the reset password. I know I say we need to close that session, but we just copied inside here, so we basically have something to work with. Coming soon, so I don't need to remove everything up. So sign up, and that's the last time we will hopefully speak about the reset password. And let's going back for the browser and see about we have the nice for the create, and we have the sign up here. Now we will create the sign up design, and first we want to create the form, and the method should be post. That's meaning if you click on the submit button, then we will make a post action, and then we need to make a labels. I'll create a label here, and I will say your name, and that's because I will make a div text here and say div style float lift display block, and then say with 50%. And I have used that before, so now we're going for a CSS file. I'm really ignoring to code the same stuff every time. So let's go in for the static here and style, and copy this one, and we will call it we 50%. That's what we call it. And if, whoops, that's a little mistake. we will call if with 50p. That's meaning float with the width, where the width is 50%. That's what we want. And then we will be able to have a clear after that. We always need that, so I will call it a clear fix. Whoops. And clear both. That's what we want to do now. And going back for the template, we are down below here, not the sign in, the sign up, and just call it a class. I have 2 of those, and then we have a div with the class clearfix. Inside those we will have input. This input we will have call it a type will be a text, sorry, and then we have a name. It's called the last name. We are interested to, when people want to sign up, we interested to have the first name and the last name. So of course there should be the first name. The second box on the right should be the last name, and this one should be required. And then we want to a placeholder, first name, and after that we want to make a style width, and then we calculate. We say 100%, and then we will minus it with 5%. And what we're gonna do here is just making the input 5 pixels smaller than 100% of this box of 50% of the full length. So on the bottom line, we basically make 5% of margin of those. So that's what we want, but we need this more time. So let's go back and copy this function inside this one. So we say input 5 pixel 5m. That's what we want. Less 5 pixel. Input 5 pixel less. Yes, it's a more cool word. So let's put it down. Oh, the reset. Here we go. Yes. So let's put it inside for the class. And then we are going inside and say this one. And I need the same down below here. I just want to trigger it around, so say last name, and we're going to the name and say last name here, and then we will have a margin left. So I will have a margin ml5. We will create a function for this and say this is a margin left function, and then we go and say ml5, oops, margin left 5 pixels. And I think we can go back for the browser now and see what's happening. And now you can see we have your name, first name and last name. And the second one we want to do now, it's going back for the editor because we have I need to see about what's happening. Yeah, that's correct, your name and everything here is fine. So now we can make the email section, and then after that we will create the password section. But before that, let's autofocus on the first name. And now we can go down here to say label, email, and then we just going down and say input type should be an email, should be a text, and name is email, and it's required. And down again we have a label password, and inside here we will create create a div, and we have basically this one we want to copy down, and I just fix a little bit and say password, not autofocus, password require placeholder, and we'll say password, and everything here it's fine, and then we say password confirm, and this is a password too, and we will just say this should be confirmed. Let's go in for the browser again and see about everything is fine. And right now everything is fine. We only need the submit button in the below, and that's what we want to do now. And make our two breaks here and say button class, it's a btn and btn primary. And no, if you're thinking it's a bootstrap this design, it's not. And the name here in the button should be sign up, and it will be nice to have some information about should the password be strong or could it be 1 2 3 4 and something like that. I think we should add so people can't make a silly password like 1 2 3 4 admin test, something like that. So we will say use 8 or more characters with a mix of letters, numbers and symbols. And then we are good to go now. I think we almost have the design as we want. So let's go back for the browser and reload again and see, yes, it's signed up, so that's cool. If you're hitting this screen and you're thinking, oh no, it's a wrong, I already have a user. It could see your email already in use and da-da-da-da, and then it will be very nice to going back for the sign up page like we have in a reset page. So let's going down below here and make two breaks again, and then we will say do tag, we'll say align center. Oh yeah, that's another function you can use. I don't know why I'm not using this. Sign in instead. And what we're gonna do here, say form sign in, and then we have the arguments. And we're just going back up here and say it like we have reset password. I'll just take it here. And I will minimize this one more time and remove this, and going back for the browser and reload, the application crashed. So let's start it up again and reload it up, and now we can create an account and going back again. So I think it's time to create some Python code to get this in action. So let's go back for this one. And it will be nice to know about it's a guest sign up or not. So let's enable for this first. So we need the guest sign up, and for now we just say true, and then I think we need a response because we need to validate, and the response should be true, and the message should be nothing. Just for now. So let's go in for the design again. We're not finished yet. We want to make a if statement up here and say if not guest sign up. We want to go inside and say you are not allowed, and then we want two more and say else. I'll just copy this and then go down here and say and if. Up here I will create a little alert, so div class alert danger. I think it's a warning is fine. It's not so bad. If you're going inside here, you should not not been able to create an account. So I'll just say guest sign up disabled. And then we're going down here and say this provider only accept account created by the provider owner. Yes. And now we're going back for the form here, and I'll just play around and say false and going for the script here, and we should not be allowed to sign up, and that's true. If I'm turning around to true, then I should have access, and that's what we got. So right now, if I'm just sending about the guest sign up, then we are being able to do this, and we have up here, and that's what I'm needing. I just copied down here because this one we need for another one. Allow guest sign up, and let's go for the browser, and let's go for the database and edit it to confirm it's still working. And now it's not allowed, and then we edit again and say true, and now it's allowed. So back to the code and then continue. So now let's going up here and prepare the next step. We need the message because we need to create the account, and then if it's going wrong we have a bunch of message to the validation, and then we need to response, and as default the response should be true, and that's what we're gonna do here. And then we will say br and then join and put down the list here, and that's what we basically need to add more, because we have the guest sign up, response, and the message. And then we can ask about if the request here, it's request method, it's equal to post, then we are allowed to go inside here. And basically we don't want people to create up, so this one should be here, because if someone trying to hack it and sign up an account, we need to block for it. So we need to say if the request is post and the provider allowed guest sign up, it's true, then you can create up in the form here. And then we are inside here, we know we always want the first name, it's equal to request form, and then get the first name. We will put this down so we don't need to type everything. Last name, email, then password confirm, and just copy those for the left side so we have it as a variable. And then we're going a little bit down here and say account is equal to account, and then we need to say response and the message and the URL redirect and the status code. And that's the response we need when we call the function create. We don't have to create yet. I will go inside to the account and create this function, but I need to work with some data now so we know what we're sending inside. We need data, and then we need the first name, and the first name we need the first name variable, and then we need the last name and the email, and then the password, and then the password confirm, and that's what we need now. And we need to say about it's a sign in. That's meaning if this is true, I will put it for as default, so we can use this function more generic. That's meaning you need to return like preparing for the sign in the token, because we have the access token for the user, and the user wants to create account and when we are created, we accept the user is basically logged in, but then we will send it back for the confirm page if the user is logged in through. That's what we want to do now. And then we need the access token, and the access token is going for the request here. Access token, this should be here, else we can't go down. And then we need the UL arguments. It's equal to directory of request arguments. That's what we need before we continue. And then we say if your response true, then we expect everything you sending back, it's okay. So I trust the URL you're sending me, and I trust the status code, it's okay. That's what we want to send back here to work with this as we want. And before we continue, I haven't a little bit bug before, so this will not working 100%. So we need to going down to the confirm process, and then in going the else statement, we have it here. This one about get return, it's not working because it's not adding the provider. So I just copy this one and add it here, so we can use the get accept return URL, and then it should return the setting site, and that's true. So I think that's okay now. We can just figure out when we working a little bit more. But going down for the sign up here, and we're going for the account now, and inside the account we will close this down and make the account as itself. And what we want to do now is say we need the data, and the data should be a dictionary, and then we need the action, should be string. If you don't add anything, it should be created. That's not true, it's the validation function I'm looking on. Here's the, yes, we need to sign in, it's a boolean, and default it should be false. And then we have an access token, it should be string, and normally it's nothing. And then we have a UL argument, it should be directory, and else it should be nothing. So that's what we want to do and work with now. So before we can create the account, we need a little bit inside here. So I will go up here and say account ID should be string, else is none. Whoops, none. And then we say if account ID is not none, then you go inside here, and we don't care about that right now, but this one I care about. That's the account, and that's the UDM account, and then we can use it below. So let's close this one and going down here for the create function. In the create function, we need a validation about the data we have about it's correct. So for this, we want to build the validator, and the validate should be data directory, and then we need to say action. The action should be a string, and if you don't define anything, I will expect it's a create function. So if action is equal to create, then you go down inside, and pass, we want to go inside to say response is equal to true, message is equal to nothing, and then we just return response and message, and we will tell it's boolean and a list, and that's what we want here. Respond and message is equal to self verify validate, that's what we have. Data is equal to data, and the action we don't need to define. And then we have the UL redirect, it's nothing, and the status code is 0. and we want to return the response, message, URL redirect, and status code. And the return data up here should be a boolean list string and int. That's what we're gonna do now, and do the magic to create our account. So first we need to validate everything here, and if everything here is going good, we just say if this one, if the response, then we go inside, else we do nothing. I think I just need to check my code here. Yeah. So it's only if it's okay, else we do nothing. So let's go up for the validation, so we can validate the code. And the first we want to do it's if not data get a first name, or the first name is empty. Then we need to say response is false and the message append. You need a first name, and I will put this in the two ways. So I can say last name here and say last name. We just minimize this so we don't need to look on it. And then we're coming down for the email. And the email. Yeah, you need an email. Else in the email we need to validate about the email is correct. To validate the email you can make a regular expression, and that's okay if you can do this, but I think it's much easier if you basically just use a validation library for email, and that's what I'm gonna do now. I have the email validator, so you need to say pip install email validator, and then it will install it, and I already have that installed, so that's perfect. And then I can going up here in the top and say from email validator import validate email and email not validate error. That's the two we need here. Then we can scroll down and continue with the email validation, because I need to say try and then validate email, and then we're gonna put inside the email. If it's crashed, like the email is not exist, then it will going to accept, and the email not valid error will appear as E. And if this appear, you will say response false, and the message for this will be email not validated, and that's perfect. But now if the email is validated at itself, that's meaning you have a succeeds email, then we need to take care about, did we have any other accounts for already exist in the system with this email, because we don't interested to insert the two of the same email. We of course with the account ODM we have a unique index key for the email, so it will never happen, but we don't need to give this error for the user, so we need to return like the account with this email already exists. That's what we want now. So we're going inside and say try again, and ODM account and object gets, and we need to say email is equal to email. And if this say true, that's meaning we don't go inside the exception. That's meaning the email found, and we need to return response false. And then we need to say up here and say append, and say account with this email already exists, except. does exist. And we need to go up here again and say from Mongo engine import does not exist. And scrolling down a little bit, we're down here, and then we just pass. So now we have the email validated and we have the last name and the first name. Now it's time to create the password validation. So let's minimize this so we don't look on that, we don't need that. And then we say if not password, whoops, if not password or not password confirm or password is equal to nothing. And then we will go inside to say response is false and message is append. Password can be empty. Else we need to say elif. That's meaning if the password and the password confirm is different, then we say passwords. We say the two passwords is not equal. Else we need to confirm the password, and we expect here on the page we have a very strong password, so that's what we're gonna to do now. We need to say elif not self confirm strong password, and the password is equal to the data password. So that's meaning if it's not strong enough, then we will say that we'll see your password it's too weak, and then we will declare that. And I will going up here and create the static method, and it's a static private, and we say password need to be string, and let's go inside and say you need to return as a boolean. That's the only thing we need. I just need to see about that's the last thing in the validation. Yes, so when we have the password strong password fixed, then we are done with the validation. So let's fix the strong password so you can see how you can do this. For the password we need lowercase, we need uppercase, we need a digit, and we need a special character. Yeah, and then we say 0, 0, 0, 0. Then we have a char list, the char list with the special characters. We need to convert a string into a list, so that's why we do this for char in then the list. And I already have a special character list, so I'll just copy my list inside so you can see it, this one. So that's all the special characters I have, and I use the backslash because the single pling it will break the list. So now we have the char list, and the next step we want to do is say if the length of password is greater than 8, equal or greater than 8, then we're going inside. Then we will split up the password in pieces, and we'll say if I is equal to is lower, that's meaning it's a lowercase. Then we'll say lowercase is +1. Then we'll say if I is upper, it's meaning it's uppercase. Then we say u for uppercase is +1. Then we'll ask about if I is digit, then we will say the d plus 1, and then we'll say if I in char set char list. That's meaning if the I is one of the special characters, then we'll say the special characters should be plus 1. And I will use elif here because it doesn't need to check it if it's blocked anything else. Then we are ready to sending the confirm back for the user about if L is bigger than 0 and U is bigger than 0 and P is bigger than 0 and D is bigger than 0 and L plus P plus U plus D is equal to language password. Then we can return true, else return false. That's it. That's how you can check about the strong password. And just minimize this one again, and we can go down below here. Well, actually, we have to create here. We have to create function. So now it's time to try to create the account, and we can do it here: pass and exception. And we want exception SE and print E. So if any errors appear here, we want to print it out. And we're going to self account, and then we say email is equal to data email. And the same we want to do with the password. And the token we want to create, you know, from the previous video, we need the uuid.uuid form, and then we need to convert it for string. So that's why we're going up here and basically just import the UUID here. And I know we need the UL lib, so let's import that too. UL lib pass import UL encode, and I need the access token. So from ODM account access token, sorry, import access token as ODM access token, and then we are ready to go down again. We are here, and the next step we want it's just the password here, and the password, you know, we need the PBK, this one, and sh 512 does hashed, and then we hash the data. This one is not good, yeah. And then we need the first name, we need the last name, and then we need to save it. And then I will prepare a comment here to sending email if out if succeed created. And then we can go into say if sign in. Then we're going for account, verify, and need account data. It's equal to self verify. Email is equal to this, and password is equal to this. We already know the password, and we already know the email. So why not check about it confirmed again, so we can get the access token for it. So if something is going wrong, let's say your database is too slow and something like that, what I mean is we created an in Mongo database. If you have a big cluster, then it sometimes will not be as fast as you insert and select again. Then it's a little bit delay. But I will take care of this to say if you create the account and you try to verify if something is going wrong, then we just say you will be sent for the sign-in page, so you can just sign in again. People will never know about it's a mistake or not. And if everything is okay, then we're just sending you to confirm the page. That's what we want to do here. So you will redirect, it's equal to form, and then we need to say sign in and say the URL in code is equal to URL arguments, and then the status code, it's equal to 302. Else, if not, then we need to say access token. It needs to be updated, so access token is equal to ODM access token, and then we need access token is equal to access token. Yeah, I say access token a lot. And then access token again, update with the data we want to set. I think we have it in the sign-in process. Yeah, but I just edit here. I think that's faster. Set account ID is equal to account data ID, and then we need the token, and that should be the account token. And then we copy this one, and we're not going for the sign-in page. We need to confirm access. And I think that's the function now is done and ready for try. So let's try to see how it's working. I think the only thing we need now, because we have the form here, if the response is it's making a false, then we're never showing the message. So let's going back for the sign up here and make this possible. We will do it inside here, and we will just make it here and say if not response, then we will say that's the error and say end if, and we say due tag class alert and alert danger, and inside here I want to say strong validation error, and we want it here, whoops, MSG, that's the message. So let's start up the application again and see about it's working. It's saying the score is taking more than a half hour to build this, so let's create a new one. Say test demo at dk, and then I want a strong password to see how it's happening, and signing up, and the password cannot be empty. So right now it's thinking about the password is empty, and that could be more reason for that. So let's do it again, and you can see something here, it's not okay. Let's going back and see why this is happening. I think we need to figure out the question inside the form here, and it could be about this one. The password is empty, so one of those should be empty. So maybe it's a sign up process, we have not correct in the password. I think that's one. Yeah, the confirms spelling wrong. I just take this inside and going for the form here and say yeah, that's fine. Let's reload and see what's happening, and just take this and redirect. It's correct, but it should automatically to target the HTTP. So something is still wrong when we're gonna to redirect something. So let's try this out and fix the issue. I have not seen that in my test environment, so I figured out what's happening, and I will explain what's happening here. It's where we're gonna create here where we're gonna update the set account ID and token, I forgot to use object, so it doesn't know what's happening. It's just thinking about it's a new object we are doing and work with, and that's not true. So now I'm going inside and remove the user we have created and going for the browser again, and then I reload it and it should working now. Yeah, now we can grant access, and let's see about it's working and redirect to my website. As it's doing, have the token here, the access token, and let's going to see about the access token below here. Have the account token, yeah, and the ID. So everything now it's working as it should. And I really hope you stay with me here and in all that minutes, and I'm really sorry about it took so long, but it's the great process and it's take time. Thank you so much to have you here today, and I really hope you want to subscribe to this channel. You can do it in the right corner below. Just click on the thing. If you have any questions, please make them in the comment spheres below. I will love to answer you. If you have any kind of feedback, you're welcome. Remember, the code can be found on my GitHub profile. You can find it in the description. You can follow me on GitHub too, so you can get new code from me. Thank you so much, and hope to see you next time. And thank you for the likes and sharing. Bye bye.